Welcome back. I am your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. This is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560. The Answer. Here with Deborah Schreiner, Jim Leahy, and we are the crew. What do we call it? The group. The group here on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the blog segment. The blog. Let it sink in. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Opem Tax Resolution is there for you at any time, anywhere, any place. What do I mean by that? You can go, for you radio listeners out there, you can go on to YouTube. Attorney Stephen Leahy does have a channel, and you can tune in every Friday live, ask a question, and we will be able to answer that. But if you can't do that, you can go to YouTube and get past videos. You can also go to chicagotaxteam.com. I keep pushing this for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? I want you to watch. I want your problem to get solved. And the only way that can happen is by calling Attorney Stephen Leahy, and we can all do that together. So what are we talking about today?
Today I'm going to discuss, as I mentioned, I always talk on the blog segment about what's going on in my office, right? And this week, I had several different people come in. It's weird how these things kind of work in tandem. It doesn't happen, and all of a sudden it happens all the time. This week I had a couple people come in. They had IRS problems. One had the IRS subpoena all their documents from their bank, and so they're looking into them. They don't know what the problem is. They run some restaurants, and they're not sure, what the IRS is even looking for, and they know that they had some payroll tax issues, but they're not really sure. And I always work on a flat rate fee, right? So when that means is I'm going to tell you what it's going to cost you before you decide to hire me generally. But if you don't know what the problem is, hard for me to give you a price about what it's going to cost you to get it done, because now, one thing about when you do flat rate fees, right? If I don't know, I have to charge a lot because I have to come up with any possibility, and I don't like to do that. I don't want to overcharge you, right? And so I had another woman that her husband is now incapacitated, and he ran everything. He was running some businesses. He was running some. He had some partnerships, some businesses, and she really never was involved in it. And now he's incapacitated, and all of this tax stuff is landing on her. Like, she's got to take care of it. But she doesn't even know what the problem is. She doesn't know if he's filed the tax returns. She doesn't know how much they owe. She doesn't know if, any of this. And so, again, hard for me to come up with a price and tell you, this is, because, again, if I did to cover any possibility, that number is going to be very large. And again, I don't want to overcharge you. So what we do here at the Opem Tax is we come up with what they call an investigation fee. Okay, and it's a minimal fee, so I can just look into the problem. Because again, I don't know. I might have to call the IRS. I might have to pull some transcripts. I might have to look at some tax returns or some past documents, figure out what's going on.
And that's a lot of work,
It is a lot of work. And just to come up with that, I can't really do it for free, and I can't come up with some fee and tell you, this is what it's going to cost, because I don't know, right? So so this investigation is a way for me to come up with, to do the investigation, figure out what's going on in this IRS problem or some other problem, but it's generally an IRS problem because some of these get very complicated. Where bankruptcy, although I do sometimes do an investigation fee for bankruptcies too, because people will approach me and say, can I file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy? And they make more than the average family their size, and that means you're above the mean. And we've talked about this on this show. Sometimes if I'm above the mean, I can do. There are ways to overcome the presumption of abuse. But I don't know that because I don't know anything about you as when you come into my office, right? I don't know anything about you. So I only know what you're telling me. So for me to determine whether you can file a Chapter 7 or not, I need to do an investigation. So I need to I need to look at your pay stubs and your tax records and your mortgage statements.
And it can get kind of invasive, and I understand that, it could be uncomfortable. But again, if you're going to require an attorney's assistance, you might as well try to help out the best you can.
So I got to have this investigation.
I have a question for you. How many people have came to you, asked you to do an investigation, but then they were just trying to hide a couple of things? It weren't really.
Well, really, I don't really have that problem where people try to hide anything, okay? Because what I always tell people is the only thing that can get you in trouble, like, for instance, in bankruptcy, the only thing that'll get you in trouble is lying, right? Not telling the truth. Also, I can't answer your questions, or I can't help you if I don't know what's going on, if you're not telling me the truth. Here's a very good example. There's a case here in Illinois where the guy had a workers' comp case going. He didn't want to lose that money from workers' comp, and so he didn't tell his lawyer that he had a workers' comp case, and they filed the Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And the trustee came to know that there was a workers' comp case. But here was the problem. If the gentleman had just told his lawyer that he had a workers' comp case, his lawyer would have reported it, and then it was fully exempt, right? Means that your creditors can't reach your workers' comp case. But because he didn't, this is what the judge said. The judge said that Chapter 7 bankruptcy gives honest debtors a fresh start. You, sir, were not honest. You, sir, don't get a fresh start. Okay, because he didn't tell his lawyer, he's trying to hide stuff, and then the lawyer couldn't protect it. It came out that he was lying. The judge didn't give him a discharge of all of his debts.
Is that the is that the commercials that I hear on the radio from big box outfits? By the way, the IRS creditor. Come on.
No, because that was more.
You know what I'm talking about?
What I was just talking about is a bankruptcy case, okay? Not being honest with your bankruptcy lawyers and not being honest with the banker. So, again, sometimes the only thing that it can cost you if you're not.
The Fresh Start Initiative.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay, I get that. Okay,
I apologize.
No, that's fine. The Fresh Start Initiative has to do with the new. They redid some of the code in the IRS and the way the IRS.
So is that what you're talking about, though?
The answer is no.
Okay.
Chapter 7 bankruptcy is often referred to as a fresh start bankruptcy. Okay, that was always called that even before they came up with the Fresh Start Initiative with the IRS. So because Chapter 7 gives people a new lease, lets them discharge all their debt and start over again, it's often referred to as a fresh start bankruptcy. It's not the official term, but many people do call it the Fresh Start Initiative. I mean, the Fresh Start bankruptcy. Now, the Fresh Start Initiative is a different thing. That's with the IRS, and the way the IRS looks at calculates what your income and expenses are and how much they'll accept as they offer in compromise and other things like that. This was the Fresh Start Initiative in order to give people a fresh start from their IRS debt. A little bit different, kind of the same thought process, but two different things. Again, bankruptcy and IRS, two different areas of the law. Mm-hmm. But again, sometimes you have to do this investigation just to figure out what's going on in the case and which way you want to go. Do I want to file a Chapter 13? Do I want to file a Chapter 7? Can I file a Chapter 7? Again, I don't know that until I do an investigation into your finances. Same thing with the IRS problems, right? I don't know what's going on. Now, most of the time, it doesn't matter what remedy you're going for because I know they're all about the same amount of work depending on what remedy I get for you. So I can come up with a flat rate fee and tell you, even before I know exactly what remedy we're going to take, I can tell you, oh, this is what it's going to cost you. Because I've done so many of these cases, I understand what it's going to take. I know what kind of work's involved, and I know how to bill it. But again, when people come to me and they don't even know what the problem is themselves, they don't know if these taxes have been filed or what exactly the IRS is after, then you'd have to do this investigation to find out.
This is so important when you hire somebody who's been doing this as long as you. I mean, you've been doing this for what, around how long now?
Over 20 years. 20 years.
20 years of doing this kind of work.
18 years.
All right.
I'm trying
18
to remember.
to 20 years. How about that? 18 to 20 years. We'll just be fresh
Something
with
like
that. Anyway, 18 to 20 years you've been doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nobody more equipped than Opem Tax Resolution.
To help you. 312-664-6649 or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub
to help fight the IRS. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jim Leahy with Hat Properties. Let's start thinking about tomorrow today, because 2019 is just around the corner, and it's not too early to start thinking about putting your home up on the market or looking to buy a home. 847-271-3695 is my phone number. Now, stay tuned. Come on back after you listen to our sponsors here on AM 560.
The Answer.